let's look at solution-oriented interviews. We so far focused predominantly on the problem-oriented, right? Let's look at best practices for testing your MVP. Now you have a product and you're trying to actually validate your solution, right? But because you already identified the problem and defined it well and went on and built something, but again, built quick, a prototype, right? Show low fidelity. Lower the fidelity, the better off you are, right? And then you can, of course, start ramping up the fidelity as you start getting the feedback, right? You could draw on a piece of paper. Again, your goal is to get the input, not sell the product. You're not going to try to tell them how great this new solution or prototype I'm building is going to be. No, that's not your goal. That has to come from them, or they might even say this sucks, and that's fine. Your goal is to actually get that insight, get that input, right? Your goal is to not sell what you have. Okay, the speed of testing and feedback is the most important thing, right? That's why keep it low fidelity. Because if you try to build a working, if you are in software, if you try to build a working software and show it to them, it will take a long time, and you will have invested a lot of money, right? And time. And then when the customers see that you went through so much effort, they sometimes may not be giving you honest feedback because they don't want you to feel bad. So they may just give you some apple polishing, right? On the other hand, if you show them just a wireframe or a piece of paper with hand sketches, they know you didn't put much thought into it, or at least investment into it. You may have put thought into it, but not investment. They know there is not much invested. They can be very blunt in their feedback, and that's what you want, right? That's what you want. Now, one question comes up: how much testing is enough, right? And I'll address that more. But basically, you keep talking to people until you don't find new insight. Because then they're telling you the same patterns again and again and again. You're getting the same stuff, which is good, which is great validation. That reaffirms everything that you're doing and doing it right. But that's when you can slow down or stop, right? You never totally stop talking questions, right? Keep that in mind. And then slowly you start going higher fidelity. For example, if I show the sketches, hand sketches first, the next time I can go and show wireframes, right? And if they like wireframes, we can then build a quick alpha prototype and have them play with it and keep testing until there are no surprises, and then have an MVP and go and continue to validate, right? So that's the kind of process and best practices for testing a prototype. Again, this is just a cute picture of keeping it low fidelity, right? A camera made out of a bunch of stuff that you can find in any household, typically, right? This is just to show how it would look like, right? How it would look like. Okay, solution-oriented interviews. How do you get them talking? So in this case, your goal is different. You're not trying to, define the problem or validate the problem. You're trying to get validation on your solution approach, right? So as we said, show wireframes or low fidelity prototypes, right? If it is software, of course, you could show sketches. If it is a mechanical product, right? You could also show a quick prototype build without investing much money, right? And then now you're asking, describe your experience of using our product if they are using it, right? Or if they have alternative, you can ask about that as well, right? If they are using something else. Describe when and how you performed a certain task last time. How did you feel? How did it go? How did it feel? And what did you like when you use it? Either our product or our competition's product or whatever you're using. What did you like, right? And of course, you really want to pick, if it is your product, really pick also what they like. Because whatever they say they like, you can throw it back later on saying, hey, you like a whole bunch of things. I just typed it up for you. Would you mind, you can edit it or change it. Would you mind giving this as a testimonial for us? And that becomes your marketing item, right? Because again, the customers don't want to hear from you. They want to hear from people like them, right? So that's great. And plus, you can go back and reinforce whatever customers are liking and make sure that part is really solid, right? And also make that into product a lot better. Similarly, what are the challenges they face when they use your product? If they're using something else, that's fine. They can describe that also. And then how does that affect their broader outcomes, their life, their company's outcomes, revenue, margins, all that kind of good stuff, right? And how would you solve it? And how do you overcome these challenges? Can you draw? Can you show? So you can go pretty much similar questions, but now these are solution oriented. These are done to validate potentially the prototype or MVP that you built. Okay, so let me summarize this, and then we will open up for a handful of questions. Right, we will open up for a handful of questions. So let's summarize this. Don't sell. Right, you're not trying to sell either the problem or your product or you by showing you that you are smart and intelligent. You're not trying to sell any one of that. You are actually in business of gaining insight. You are in business of gaining insight. 15, 20 customer interviews, not a bad start. That's the start. Okay, that's the best way to get customer insights. Right, and I told you what kind of questions you can ask, what kind of plug you can give so that they can potentially join or be ready to talk to you. Right, use those insights. Once you get those insights, use those insights to craft a survey and send it to 500 people or 1,000 people if you want, right? Because then you will get broader market validation, right? Because the insights will give you what questions to ask to get broader market validation. And then test your MVP or prototype with solution-oriented questions once you have built a solution. Because you found the insight, you got the market validation, you went and quickly built something low fidelity, and then you're validating that MVP or prototype to get feedback, right? Quickly, get feedback quickly. And once that happens, then you're ready to actually roll it, and you're ready for prime time. Also, don't forget ask if you know the interview went well and pleasant for both parties. Ask them, for a referral. Do you know somebody else like you who I can talk to, who might be, one, interested to talk to me as well as useful to talk? And that gives you free referrals, right? Because you had one quality interaction, and if anybody gives you 30 to 60 minutes of their time and engages that deeply, you start forming some sort of relationship there, right? And so you have to, this is a great opportunity for you to ask for referral. And then that means your customer interview process will go faster. You potentially even get, some pipeline built through some of these referrals. Some of them may turn out to be real prospects, right? So ask for a referral. So that's in a summary